part of Governor Roy Cooper's clean energy plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions substantially in the coming decades.
Tonight, the Utilities Commission heard public comment on Duke Energy's plan to meet his goals. And meteorologist Elisa Raffa was at that meeting and joins us now live to break it down. Elisa?
Yes, people were worried and alarmed about climate change at this meeting, and they were equally passionate to have their voices heard. Now, our cameras were not allowed in this meeting tonight, but we did get to catch up with people right outside. Now, Duke Energy's plan does account for increasing solar and offshore wind and battery technology to achieve this goal. The goal is to reduce emissions by 70% by 2030. But some say it's not enough. I heard from doctors, business leaders, clergymen, and even a former Charlotte mayor, all concerned about the future. John Gardner is a retired environmental scientist and engineer, and he calls himself a community liaison, helping to bridge the gap between science and skepticism.
The concerns about the increases in fossil fuel that they're going to continue to use, the Duke is going to continue to use. That's a great concern of the environmental community. But I also understand Duke's position. They can't build enough renewables fast enough in their view. And so we need to find that solution. I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful. You know, we're all, it's a scary time. And these problems are real and they're big.
Problems are real and big, but with that hope does come a lot of science. Now, Duke does have a research and development facility around Mount Holly that is working to see how new technology and innovation can help us achieve these goals of cleanliness and resiliency on the power grid. I got to take a tour. Let's take a look.
A lot of multitasking, but also a lot of focus.
Justin Huntley is one of the operators behind Duke Energy's Power Grid Control Center in Charlotte.
As long as you got a strong team around you, which we do in here, it goes smoothly as it possibly can.
That means he's your first line of defense when your power goes out in severe weather or extreme heat.
We'll shift the power from that area to another area, just to try to get as many people back on as quickly as we can.
Think of them as the eyes of the sky on the power grid, and they're watching everything and making sure that it's working reliably, but also that our crews are safe.
Those eyes watch a large portion of the Tar Heel state, and new technology installed in the last 2 years makes a hectic day for Huntley
No problem.
a little easier. Duke Energy's Jeff Brooks compares this new self-automated, self-healing technology to the GPS in your car.
If you are driving along and it says there's an outage ahead and you take a road to get around the outage and stay on your way, think of this as the GPS for the power grid, helping to identify outages and quickly reroute power to other lines to restore service faster.
This rerouting can help restore power in less than a minute, reducing the number of customers impacted from an outage by as much as 75%.
Pinpointing exactly where the fault or the problem is, then we'll actually be able to direct the technicians quicker to that specific area instead of saying, hey, all of this is out, I'm not sure exactly where.
While only 20% of the area benefits from this technology now, Duke plans to increase that to 80% in the coming years. This is one of Duke Energy's newest power grid control centers, but 85% of the calls that come through here don't even need a technician to go out into the field because of this new self-healing, self-automation technology. That helps get the power on at your house in extreme weather faster, and it will be crucial as we get more solar and wind on the grid and more electric vehicles on the road. Power has always flowed in one direction, from the grid to your house.
That green light means we are microgrid.
But now it's becoming a two-way street from your roof to your chargers and back through the grid.
This green box here just shows us that we are separate from the utility. And then these are all the little controls and things like that to keep us safe within our microgrid.
Rodney James is an electrical engineer by training. He heads Duke Energy's Emerging Technologies R&D facility as Technology Development Manager.
And then over here is our solar field. Right now it's coming out about 60 kW.
His team tests grid efficiency and reliability by making them smaller, more independent islands.
If we have what we call capacity events, so there's not there's not enough energy on the grid, or that demand is really high, we can actually use those customers to separate themselves from the grid so that we can supply energy to other places.
This will help eliminate those widespread blockbuster blackouts, which is a need at the top of the list for customers at hospitals, universities, and even the military. The grid also becomes more reliable with more diversity in energy sources.
These are our solar fields. We've got about 150 kW of solar, and then we have an inverter over here. So that converts the DC of the solar into AC, which is usable energy that goes into the microgrid.
Their shop of science runs on sunshine. The clean energy powers experiments on the microgrid and solar panels.
We're doing testing for software communication. So how do these meters communicate to each other?
And even test meters that read EV chargers and solar batteries. Solar is shining in North Carolina. The Tar Heel State leads 5th in the nation for solar energy. But the sun doesn't shine 24/7.
If we think about how solar produces, it's pretty intermittent sometimes. So we can actually use a battery to what we call firm up that solar to allow for a better grid impacts.
Right now, most batteries, both on the grid and in EVs, are made of lithium ion.
They have a special silicate that has to be mined for that. I believe that resource right now is in China. We're still looking for rare earth metals that take to construct these batteries.
As cleaner cars ditch the gas, second life of EV batteries is being researched as a way to keep sustainability in check on the road and on the grid.
We're looking at different chemistries of batteries that will allow for different capabilities, whether it be power or duration or energy storage.
This solar battery on the Duke Energy microgrid will be a completely different material next year, so they can run those tests.
This is not just science experiment stuff. These are things that actually end up on our grid that we actually use to help mitigate some of the impacts.
Mitigation that will only help the state become cleaner, more efficient, and more advanced. Duke plans to reduce their emissions by 70% by 2030, achieving carbon neutrality by 2050.
It's great to also just inform people around you about what technology, how that technology is going to enable the things that they do in their life, and also can help them move forward, especially when they look at things of either climate change or rates, or just understanding technology from solar, how that can implement, how can they be a part of that implementation in their life.
Now, a ruling by the North Carolina Utilities Commission is expected by the end of the year to finalize Duke Energy's carbon plan. For now, we're reporting live in Uptown. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa, Queen City News.
Lisa, thank you. And for a full breakdown of this latest report and for more from meteorologist Elisa Raffa, you can visit our website at qcnews.com.